G'day everyone, I'm Ben and this is Counterfeit Christianity. Really glad to be here again and feeling happy and thankful today. Go down into the description. I have my website and I'm offering groups, conversations where we can be authentic and real. Learn about relationship, learn about joy, how to find joy, how to get back to joy, learn about how to live with our Creator, with our Daddy in this world and to be actually led by Him in our own place. And I'm also offering a course, a 6-week course. And those things I'll also be going through in that. So you can either jump on a group or jump on the course as well. And I'll just be going through the things that have really changed my life. How to build joy, how to check in, like being heart to heart with people, with God and other people, listening and having conversation with our Daddy, with our Creator, with the living God, having appreciation on what that means, how much freedom that gives you. And then also like this idea of letting God take over. And yeah, a few other things and just things that I have come to understand as part of being human. This is what I'm actually about. This is what this channel is actually about. God has prompted me. My Daddy has prompted me to start doing this stuff. I have been facilitating groups for a really long time, for about a decade. So I'm good at that sort of thing. And it's all on the website, lots of examples and all different things that you can have a look through. And if you're interested, jump on and have a chat with me. I'll be really excited to meet some of you guys. So this is another one of those videos that I've done a couple of already where I look into these old world buildings. This journey that I've been on of looking into the channels where they talk about this stuff. And there's a few really good channels. There's a guy called John Levi, one word, on YouTube. And there's another guy that I found on Rumble and he's called My Lunch Break. And that's really great too. They just dig into these old world buildings and the lies around the history. And this has been part of my journey recently of looking into this stuff. And I thought, I want to do it myself. I want to look into some of the places in Australia and look into the history that they tell us and ask some questions about it and say, what? How does this even make sense? I've been looking into it and like the stuff that they tell us is true history is kind of weird. Yeah, let's have a look. All right, this is the thing that I've been looking into today, but this is the Royal Exhibition Building in Melbourne. And I just started looking at this stuff and it's so interesting to me, the stuff that they say. So here, I saw a picture of this building and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I looked into the history of it and I'm just like, yeah, it's an old world building and they're just lying. This idea of old world buildings is just that these buildings were already here and this history that they tell us is what actually happened didn't. We understand the way that we build things now and the time it takes us to build things. And then these sort of buildings that they tell us that they built in the amount of time that they did it, in the time where they had horses and carts, where they pulled things around with donkeys, and supposedly these motherfuckers can do whatever the fuck they wanted back then, but nowadays, oh, we can't afford it, we couldn't build like that. Imagine if someone built a building like this now. So this is the stuff I just looked into, and this is the interesting part here. It says it was built in 1879 to 1880. It was built in 1 year, right? And part of this building's still there. So let's just have a look at some of these pictures. They assume correctly that we're not going to look into this stuff. And like I said, on those two channels, if you go around and have a look at the two channels, I'll try and link them below if I remember. But they have a massive amount of evidence. This is not new stuff for a lot of people on this journey of like finding truth. And I just thought I'd just do my little part just to show some more truth from what I understand at the moment. But yeah. And this is the guy they said built it. You could dig into these things and they're just a bunch of dickheads. They're just like fake things. And they always say like this bloke, he made it. I read it a bit before, but they said, oh, here's an agricultural guy. He'd never designed anything before, but then he pulled this out of his ass somehow. And then I found this picture. It's really fucking cool, isn't it? But this is a huge organ. And if you look into the old world, they love bells and organs and things like that were really important to them. I think there's something to that, right? The way that we feel things through the air, I think that's really important. I just saw this picture and I'm like, man, this is really impressive. A bunch of shitty little chairs with a fake flag right here that's just like a massive scam. And look at this building. This is a picture I actually saw when I thought, man, I got to do a video about this one. So they built this, we'll see better perspective later on. They're telling us that they built this in 1 year, okay, in 1879. Can you imagine that? Down the road from my house, they're building 4 apartments. And they've been doing that for almost on a year, blocking the road for frickin' ages with heaps and heaps of builders in there. And they're not finished, but they built this in a year. Even just that fact is obviously a lie. And they say, oh, they might just be like not know the history correctly. Yeah, I think that's true. I think they don't know the history correctly, so they just make shit up. There was a civilization, even in Australia, here before we were. Our timeline is a huge fucking lie. And I've said in a few other videos that I have this feeling that they've added thousands of years on. So the reason that they do this is because they want us to feel hopeless. They add extra years, thousands of years, so that we're separated by thousands of years. We're thrown into this space of oblivion where we're just going out of control to nothing. We have no connection with each other. We have no connection with our creator. And they say that we're shit. And we just got to believe that because that's what they tell us. So control of history is really important. And so I learned that that's where this name Freemasonry came from. If we're in this idea of finding truth, I looked into this a few years ago. I learned about Freemasonry just a bit before the governmental lockdowns. And Freemasons basically rule the world. All the astronauts are Freemasons. All the big music names, all the movie stars, Freemasons, blah, blah, blah. All the same thing. They're all in it. And these guys get to do whatever they want because they own everything and they work together. They're like in an evil, demonic way. And that's where they got this name Freemasonry from, is because they got all these free buildings. We were here and we just get free shit. It's just already built. The civilization before us was gone. If you've never heard this before, obviously you'll think I'm a fucking psycho, but why do I care? No, who cares? It doesn't mean anything what people think about me. Like, I don't give a shit. Everybody who I've known growing up already thinks I'm a fuckwit, so it doesn't even matter. Like, all the Christians that I knew, I'm an evil demon because I don't believe in Christianity. Christianity is a scam. Being with our creator has nothing to do with Christianity. Christianity just pulls us into hell. So they're saying they built this in a year with all these cucks riding around in little horses and carts and like dirt roads. Yeah, right, eh? Makes sense, doesn't it? It just looks so amazing, doesn't it? And like, you look into the world fairs anywhere, and it's all the same all over the world. This architecture is all over the world, and it's all the same. Even in Middle Eastern countries. Watch these other guys' channels. I'll try to remember to link them below. But yeah, it's just another picture. Just random people standing there. It's freaking weird. This is where they did the first parliament in Australia. It's like, you can look at this picture and I always thought it was really weird, like a super interesting picture. Even since I was a kid, I'm like, wow, that's weird. And how this stage and everyone's packed onto it, all the fucking cucks watching from there, like, yes, daddy government, you tell me what to do and I'll bend over and you insert it deep as you like. They're indoctrinating us to worship government. They're indoctrinating us to worship these rulers that we have, and this is part of that for us. Like, we built this thing, it's all because of us and we're so great. It's just a huge scam. Look at this picture. Is like a picture from further off. This was like in 1880 once it was completed, and they're doing the first World Fair. They're saying it was the first World Fair in the Southern Hemisphere. Oh shit. This is it today. Part of it's still there. It's just this main building, I think, from what I can understand. It'd be interesting. I've never been to Melbourne. It'd be interesting to go see it. Old world buildings were built, and it wasn't our civilization, I don't think. Yeah, look at this picture. This is like one of the days during the World Fair that somebody drew this, and you can see the dirt roads. Everywhere's dirt everywhere, and they built this in a year with horse and cart and donkeys. All this whole thing. This is just an observation. And this is what they're still telling us. And like, if you don't think about it too much and you don't look into it, that's what they require of us. This is how they let the facade overtake us. This is how they get us, is by us not looking, not paying attention, not seeing things right in front of our faces. This is what's left. Okay, so even looking at it now, and they just lie straight to our faces. Okay, so I was looking at this before. This one is the government house in Sydney, but then I found these other things like, oh, this one. I found this picture. I was going to look into it later, but this is the government stable. It's like a fucking castle, and they say that they built it for the stable. These are evil demons, and they're spitting right in your face. Okay, this is in Sydney, not in Melbourne. The other one was in Melbourne. I wasn't meaning to show this, but I've just been digging through this stuff. It's really interesting to me. I'm not saying either way. It's just my understanding. Like, this is the way that I see the world. And just go and look at those two YouTube channels and say, what if? It's so interesting to me that we will never say what if. They've indoctrinated us to know stuff so much that we won't even say what if. We won't even look into things like, no, you're a fucking crazy person. And then that's it. But that's okay. I don't care if people say that about me. But it's our own selves that we're freeing here. I believe that our Creator, has built this amazing world for us, and we're captured by what they show us, by what they tell us to see. We're absolutely captured by this stuff. And that is how they control our minds. That is the way that they control the things that we do. It's because they tell us to believe in them. But we have a Creator. We don't have to believe in him. We just get to be with him, and he shows us what is good. Like, we get to be in relationship with him. And that is the thing that I want to actually share the most. I have the most enthusiasm for this in my life. I've received so much freedom just to say, I don't care what the world and these people say. Our governments, our churches, our religions, these religious people who try and capture our minds. They try and destroy your heart and capture your mind and say, this is the truth, this is not. This is what you should know, this is not. Anything outside of this, you're going to hell. And our governments do that as well. All we have to say is, I don't believe you. I don't. And then when they tell you to do something, just say no. It's so simple. And I don't think it's ever going to get better, because most people don't want to. They don't want to look into things. Like, even me sitting down for the last hour or so, just like looking through these pictures and reading about these places, nobody really wants to do that. And it's all right in front of us. It's like they tell us what they've done right to our faces, but we don't want to believe it because it destroys everything of what we actually think is real and true. I had to go through it with Christianity and realizing that Christians are some of the most demonic people in the world. They don't realize it, but they've been indoctrinated into this system that separates them from relationship from our daddy, from the living God. They have this system in place of him. They have this book in place of him, and they worship all that. And they are who Jesus was warning us about. Jesus came to show us relationship with the Creator, with the living God, with our daddy. And he said, stay clear of religion. They're snakes, they're serpents, they're demons. Stay clear of them. Be in relationship with my daddy. That's why he came. He came to show us that. So I feel freedom, and I hope that people will jump on my website and connect. I really would like to do that, and I feel led into be doing this, and it's been really fun, and I love doing these videos, and I love putting this stuff forward. I'm going to keep doing stuff, and it's really fun. I really appreciate you guys. Like always, this is my understanding. I don't know shit, so I'll see you next time, and I really appreciate you. Bye.